are the champion, the one that holds the line and finishes the mission. Everything that you want is within your grasp. You wake up in the morning ready to dominate the day, and every step taken is with purpose and integrity, because you were not put on this planet to live a mediocre existence. You are here to conquer and make the biggest impact possible, not only for yourself, but for your family and for your tribe. This world is a battlefield, and we will be victorious. This is the Norse mentality.
What's up, guys? I hope that you are having a glorious day. If you're listening to this, then we are officially in 2023. It's a new year. A lot of us have goals that we've set that we want to accomplish. The reason that we've made these goals is because we want to level up. We want to become the best version of ourselves. We want to improve our quality of life, and we want to impact those around us. That is the point of this podcast. That is why for the past month now, we've been giving you guys tools to help you accomplish these goals that you're setting. And while we've been doing that, we've also been helping ourselves, because that's all this podcast comes down to. It's us talking to ourselves, bouncing ideas off of each other, and you guys are pretty much flies on the wall. You guys get to listen to us, and hopefully what we are saying is helping you with your life as well, and these things that you want to accomplish for yourself and for your family and for your tribe and all that stuff. So with that being said, we have big objectives. All of us do. If you're listening to this podcast and you're probably an ambitious person, you want to make an impact. You want to become a better version of yourself. So these goals that we're setting, why are we doing it? You're doing this for you. You're doing this because you need to prove to yourself that you can do this. And that's the most important thing that we need to remember as we move into the new year. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for those around me. And I'm going to prove to myself that no matter what happens, what obstacles come along the way, that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue moving forward because I owe this to myself. I owe this to my future self, my future life. This is what I have to do.
On a past episode, recent episode, we talked about setting goals was a trendy topic. And I think that a lot of people kind of get pushed into setting goals because of how everyone else does it. And also because they want to prove to everyone else that they are something and somebody. When in all reality, those fucking people don't matter.
They don't matter.
Unless it's those closest to you.
But even they don't matter in regards to what they think about you.
So this is not for everyone else. This is for you to prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are able to do things that you set your mind to, and you're staying true to your word, to you.
Let me touch on what I mean by they don't matter, because I feel like that's going to be taken the wrong way. So let me rephrase that. Of course, those around you, your family, your friends and stuff like that, they are the most important people in your life, and you do owe them something. But at the end of the day, what your parents think about you, what anyone thinks about you is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself. Do you respect yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you have enough admiration for yourself to do this? That's what I mean by that, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, because everyone is living their own life. They are living their own reality. My reality is different than yours. Everyone is living this life in their own way, working towards their own goals. Everyone in your life also has their own goals that they're trying to reach. So to expect that anyone should care about what you're working towards should not be the main reason that you're doing it. And that's what I meant by that statement. You're doing this for you. If someone else agrees with your goal and what you're doing, cool. That's awesome. But really their opinion doesn't matter, because this is your life and you are doing this for you and for your future self. And with that being said, when we do things and we follow through with it to ourselves, we gain more self-respect. But a lot of times people do not follow through with their word because they have mental and emotional blocks that are stopping them from doing so. Those are products of their past, trauma, experiences, something that someone might have said when you were in kindergarten, which is fucked that that's the way that this works, is that you're so programmable. You're so programmable. I can't even say that fucking word. Whatever.
Programmable.
There you go. I don't even know if that is a word. I'm just pulling shit on my ass right now. Either way, whenever you are in those first 7 years of life, you are a sponge. You're taking in all this information. If your parents say something to you like, you can't do this, that will affect you when you are an adult. And that way, when you go to lose 30 pounds, there's going to be that little voice in your head saying that you can't do it because someone in your youth said that you couldn't do something, and that got trapped in your subconscious and it became a block.
Someone that you respected, whether that's a parent.
That's usually what it is.
A little league coach, you know.
And it could have been a complete misunderstanding.
Of course.
Right? Like they could have said something and because you're 6 years old, you took it the wrong way. But either way, it triggered an emotion in you and that emotion has stuck with you. And now you do not think that you're worthy of a better life. You do not think it is possible for you to level up. And the only way that we remove these blocks is by pushing past them. We break through the fucking obstacles like we do everything else. This is the obstacle that is standing in your way of reaching success, is this block, this mental block, this emotional block, whatever it may be. We do not let it stop us. We continue moving forward. Okay, cool. I have a lot of self-doubt in my head. Fuck this self-doubt. I don't give a shit. This is just my brain talking to me. It doesn't fucking matter. Turn it off. Stop taking thoughts so seriously. How many thoughts do we have throughout the day?
I have a ton.
It doesn't ever stop, right?
No.
Like that's what the brain does. The brain's always going. The brain is just your operating system. It's your computer. It's your own little personal computer in your head, and it's always running these little programs and shit like that. It's saying shit. Sometimes it's beneficial. Sometimes it's not. Actually, a lot of times it's not beneficial at all. Regardless of whatever thoughts you are having, if it is not serving you, don't take it seriously. Are they there? Yes. Okay, cool. Observe them and let them go because that's how thoughts work. They're there 1 second and then they're not. It's just like emotions. That's why I don't take emotions seriously anymore. This was like a turning point for me. I wake up one day, I'm sad. In the past, that would cripple me. Well, I can't do anything. Now I wake up, maybe I'm in a shitty mood. Well, that's there. I'm going to continue doing what I need to do today because this is just an emotion. 1 second I'm sad, I wake up the next day, or maybe it's 2 hours later, I'm no longer sad. That's how emotions work. Emotions come and then they go. Thoughts come and then they go. It doesn't matter. So we can't allow these things to stand in our way. When you have that block come up, you recognize it, you're telling yourself, I can't do this. You shift it. You grab it and you shift it. I can do this. Because I can do fucking anything that I want to do. This is the mindset that you need to acquire, and this is not going to happen overnight, but with repetition, it will. And that's where proving this to yourself that you can, the more victories that you stack, the more obstacles that you overcome, you're gaining confidence. The more that you do this throughout your life, that negative self-talk starts to lose power. That negative energy that has been controlling your life up to this point starts to lose control of you. And it starts to be transformed into an energy that will actually move you forward. It will catapult you towards this future that you want for yourself. And some of our blocks are worse than others. Some people had a really fucked childhood. And because of that, they have more work that they need to put in. But here's the thing with that. It is a blessing. Because people that never experience any turmoil in their life, they're fucking soft. And then the people that have dealt with gnarly shit, the ones that have really had to climb out of hell, you can't stop those kind of people. So if you are one of those people where you just got dealt a shitty hand, good. Because it has made you into a strong individual. You might feel weak at times. We all do. I don't care who you are. We feel weak at times. But that does not mean that you are a weak person. It means that things have happened. And up to this point, that's the only experience that you have. We create new experiences by putting in the work. And through repetition, the more repetition we put in, the more victories that we stack, the more confidence that we gain ourselves, the more self-respect that we gain ourselves. And the only way that we do that, though, is by keeping our word, what you said.
I've mentioned this book multiple times. I know you've read it too. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
It's a good one. Everything that dude writes is great.
It's wonderful.
What's his name again?
Don Miguel Ruiz. Four Agreements.
Four Agreements. You can find out on Amazon.
It's one of the first self-help books I read, and it was an absolute game changer.
Super short, super good read, but it's one of those books that you read and it's like, damn, this is very thought-provoking and this is life-changing.
It's a pretty cool book. It goes into the ideas of the Toltec people, and which is an ancient civilization that was, their consciousness was, they were just a very leveled up
society,
consciously aware society of people. And one of the agreements mentioned in the book is be impeccable with your word. And what that does, and what it did for me, was one of the most beneficial things that could have happened. Be impeccable with your word to others. If you say something, do it, and be meaningful and intentional when you say those things. But the biggest shift was when you become impeccable with your word to yourself. All the bullshit stops, and you just get this growth mindset within yourself, and you no longer hold yourself back anymore. You tell yourself you're going to do this, you do it, and that just snowball effects down the road.
Let me ask you this. Say someone says that they're going to do something. It's your partner, it's a parent, it's a friend. It doesn't matter who they are. Someone says that they're going to do something for you, then they don't do it. How does that make you feel?
If my expectations are high and it was very important to me, very disappointed.
Very disappointed. Okay. We feel the same way about ourselves when we don't keep the word that we've said.
Yeah, you kind of lose this trust of yourself to where, like, I said I'm going to do this, I didn't deliver. Well, the next time I say I'm going to do something, my brain's just going to fucking laugh at me. Like, hey, you've been here before. You don't do it. This is a repetition. This is a pattern that we see, and you still don't follow through every time. So it's just a thought at that point. It's not a solidified actuality of this is what I'm going to do.
And that's why keeping your word and following through with what you say to yourself is so important. And if you have not followed through with what you've said, which I'm sure you have, I think everyone has at some point in their life, and you are at this point where your mind does go, I mean, you said this last time, you didn't do it. You said you were going to stick to this diet and you didn't. You said that you were going to start going to the gym. You lasted a week and you quit going. You're a joke, right? That's where you start to lose self-respect for yourself. But you can gain that back. And that's what I want people to understand with this is you have failed in the past. That does not dictate your future. You need to override that. You need to prove to yourself that you're going to put in the work and that you can accomplish whatever you have set out to do. And the only way we do that, though, is by putting our head down and putting in the work. It doesn't mean posting on social media. It doesn't mean telling everybody, I went to the gym today. No, you just do that for your fucking self. That's the main thing here. Keep that energy to you. I said I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to prove to myself that I am true to my word. You don't need to tell anybody else, because when you tell other people, you are projecting that energy outwards instead of keeping it to yourself. That energy can be used to move you forward, but if you give it to someone else, how's that benefiting you?
So say you do. Say you go to the gym. You're happy to go to the gym. You post on Instagram. You post on Facebook. I went to the gym today. This is what I did. It's a start of the year. Everybody's excited for you. You get a certain amount of likes, certain amount of comments, certain amount of engagement. If that's what you're relying on, 3 weeks down the road, when you post the same thing again and it doesn't get as much likes and engagement, that external factor that you've been relying on,
The validation that you're seeking.
when that's no longer there, if you truly don't want to do this, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to work in your favor. And that's what I mean. Like, you're giving your energy to other people and other things to dictate where you're going to be down the road, because you're looking for validation from other people instead of looking for validation from yourself. And here's another thing with that fact, with the point that you brought up. If you post on social media, this is what I'm going to do, or you post a progress picture, which progress pictures every once in a while is okay, but like, earn that, right? Like, earn the right to say, I lost 30 pounds. You should want to like blow people's fucking mind with your results. That's my approach with it, at least. I don't ever tell anyone what my goals are. I just do it. And then maybe a year, 2 years, Sometimes the goals take 3 to 5 years. Like the goals I set, they don't happen overnight. They used to. And then I started setting bigger goals. And now when I set a goal, it could take 3 to 5 years for that goal to be accomplished. And I hope that one day I'm working on like 20-year goals. Like I hope I set goals that are so fucking big that I'm just like, it's going to take me 20 years to accomplish this. And I'm going to stay in the fight until I accomplish it. But either way, I want to blow people's fucking minds. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to be posting progress photos and stuff all the time. I'm just going to be putting in the work. And then maybe I will show something. And then everyone's going to go, oh, fuck. Right? Like I want oh, fucks with everything I do. Holy fuck. Look at what Andy just did. Yeah, you're right. And guess what? Andy's already working towards fucking something else. But I'm not doing it for other people. Like I'm doing that for me. I'm proving to myself that we can set huge goals and that we can accomplish them. But when you post these things on social media, like I'm going to do this, or I've lost 10 pounds, or I went to the gym 5 days this week, or whatever it is, and you start getting this validation from other people, which you're going to, which is amazing because these people support you and they love you. It's not a bad thing to them. It's a bad thing for you because these people are showing you support and love. But when they are doing that, they're almost saying, great job, you accomplished something big. You didn't accomplish anything yet. You just made a couple steps forward. That's not something that should be rewarded necessarily. Reward it to yourself. Reward your little small victories as you should. That's where like cheat meals come in, right? Like you've stuck to a meal plan heavily for a few weeks. Okay, I'm going to treat myself. Maybe I'll have like a beer or, have a burger or something like that. Like you earn that. But you should also have to earn validation from other people. And the issue with social media is that it's so easy for someone just to type out, wow, so proud of you. Proud of what? What have I done? But that's not how your brain takes it. Your brain goes, oh, look, I did something. I've already accomplished the goal. And you lose motivation because it triggers and you get a dopamine release, right? Like it feels good when someone compliments you. But what that is doing is it's triggering to the brain and it's telling your mind, oh, we've already accomplished something because other people are telling me that we did. No, like you're just on the journey. Like you're working towards something. You haven't gotten there yet. And even when you get there, don't tell anybody. Try that. Because you're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing this for you. Say you do accomplish this goal in 6 months instead of it taking a full year. Cool. Why do you have to post about it? Because you're seeking validation from other people. What does that do for you? I would much rather keep that to myself. If someone says something like, damn, you're looking good. Thank you. Yeah, I've been busting ass. I really appreciate that. Thank you for noticing. But posting about it, I mean, like, look what I accomplished. Everyone praised me. It's a weird thing, man. And I'm not bashing anybody because I've done that before too.
Oh, I've definitely done it in the past.
And I still post stuff every once in a while.
Yeah.
I flexed the other day on Instagram. Flexed hard as fuck, right? But it's also like the main reason I did that was to give a shout out to Ethan and Cornelius for helping me on this journey that I'm on right now.
But that was for you.
But that was for me, for
right.
sure. Right.
Right. That's the difference.
Yeah,
here.
and I didn't post it being like, everyone look at this progress I've made. It's like, no, like,
look how beautiful I am.
Look at how beautiful I am. Like that's the issue with social. That is my issue with social media. I don't have an issue necessarily with social media. I have an issue with the way people use social media. That's been a turning point for me. I used to fucking hate social media because of how toxic it can be. But then I realized one day it's like, well, you're the one making it toxic. You're following people that are toxic instead of following people that are putting out valuable information that are moving you forward. You're following bullshit. Now I don't follow bullshit. My entire Instagram feed is just nothing but positive shit that empowers me and helps me move forward. And also, if it is having a negative impact on my mental state, it's because I'm losing self-control over the amount of time that I'm spending on it. And when I catch that now, I delete it. If I catch myself just like compulsively scrolling on social media, I just delete the damn app immediately. I'm like, well, we've lost control. You've lost the privilege of getting on this thing. Get off. Get your shit together, and then you can get back on, right? Like these are conversations I have with myself. But the main thing with posting about this stuff on social media is that whenever you get compliments from other people, validation from other people, it makes you feel like you've accomplished something, and then you're not going to continue moving forward at the same speed that you are right now. And that's what we want to avoid. Like, no, like we want to be a fucking freight train going towards our goal. And whatever gets in our way, we're going to demolish it.
I'm going to approach it from a different standpoint. Say you're a person, and I've been there, and I know you've been there. When you lack self-confidence and you've set a goal, you're very fragile in that state. Any little thing can possibly derail you. Okay? So you've set this goal, you post about it on social media, and one person says something negative. When you're in that fragile of a mind state, that one person can derail you, even if their opinion does not hold any weight with you. Just that little shift can throw you off your track.
Yeah, are you going to take that risk? Is that something that you're willing to do just for a little bit of external validation? It's not worth it. And I'm glad you brought that up because it will happen. There will be some miserable fucking prick on the internet that wants to make you feel as bad as they feel. And they will tear you apart. And they will probably win. And you could give up. That's an interesting thing that we can dive into. Because we didn't really have a roadmap for this episode. We're just like, let's just talk. Let's just sit down and talk. We need to remove as many things as possible that's going to derail us. That's not something I've ever really thought about before, but it's very important. But it's the same with food, right? Like let's use that as an example. Say you want to start a diet. The very first thing that you should do is go through your house and start throwing away everything that's going to derail you from that diet. That is step number 1. Open up the cabinets, open up the fridge, start throwing everything away. If you could give it to someone else, then just give it to someone else. Don't waste it. But either way, you remove the temptations.
Especially if you're brand new to this.
Like you don't have the strength yet to overcome these temptations. Or anything that's going to derail you. Like you're saying, some piece of shit online could say something hateful for you. And because you haven't built that self-respect yet, that internal validation for yourself, you're going to get derailed from it. Why put yourself in that state? Like just eliminate it. Like we need to eliminate as many of these things as possible that could throw us off track. Right? It's like going to war during winter. Why would I do that? Why would I go to war during winter? They didn't back in the day. They waited till summer because winter was going to fuck them up. They knew that if they went and tried to conquer this other place during winter, that they were probably going to lose because of external factors that they had no control over. Well, you have control over you pretty much have control over every external factor that could derail you in modern life. So maybe it would be beneficial to sit down and really make a list. What can I remove from my daily life that would potentially stop me from reaching this objective that I've set for myself? It's not a bad thing to think about. I've never done it before. I probably have on a subconscious level, but I've never deliberately sat down and been like, what is going to slow me down and how do I get rid of it? And if I would have done that, which I will be doing moving forward, I'll probably reach objectives a lot quicker. But it goes back to that same, the weight loss thing. I wanted to stick to the strict diet. We'll remove the temptations. That's 80% of it right there. If you're not around shit food, you're not going to eat it. What are you going to do? Get in the store, get in the car and go to the store? Well, at that point, you got a lot of work to do. It's like, fuck, you're desperate.
Damn, I don't have shit in this house. I'm going to go grab some shit.
But that's an interesting concept. I'm going to give it a shot, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. It's cool. It's a cool thing to think about. What else is there? What else is going to slow us down, but also anyone that's listening in the new year? What is something that we need to keep in mind? What is something that we can do to make sure that we reach ultimate victory?
Perspective. I would start off with shifting your mindset. And, we like to set timelines on shit. We love it. We love to do it. If I'm not married by 25 and don't have a family, I'm a failure at life. I've
been there.
As a human, we love to set timelines on shit. Be realistic with your trajectory and change your perspective immediately before even starting. Know that this may take longer than what you've set for yourself, and be okay with that, because it's there's an old saying, it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey.
That's true.
And it is, because the journey is what prepares you for life. The journey is what prepares you for the next goal and the next goal. Because along that journey, you're putting in the work, putting in the reps to better yourself, create better habits, create a better you, create a more efficient you. That's part of the learning process. And if you go ahead and embrace that from the get-go, knowing that this is going to fucking suck, because it normally does.
It's going to suck,
It normally does.
It should.
But knowing that from the very beginning already sets you up for success. If you go into this thinking that you're just going to be the motherfucker, nothing can stop me, I'm full head of steam, nothing can knock me off course. If you lack self-confidence and you lack self-control and one little thing derails you and that's your mindset, getting that train back on the tracks is fucking tough.
So I think it is a balancing act there, because you do need to tell yourself you are the motherfucker. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am the motherfucker. I'm the man, and I can accomplish anything that I want to. But at the same time, there does need to be a level of authenticity there, which comes with time. You can't tell yourself that and just be fresh and beginning at this, because that internal voice is going to be like, you're a fucking liar. You are a fraud.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that without it actually having some backbone.
Right, and that's the issue with it, right? And that's something that people don't talk about. It's all about fucking positive affirmations, right? Everyone wants to say that. Yeah, say this, say that, say this. Well, there's an internal critic that you have not proven yet. You've not proven to this internal critic that you are the motherfucker. So if this is what you're relying on, is having that type of mindset, yes, is it beneficial? For sure. But you better be putting in the reps and putting in the work to rapidly show that internal critic that, hey, yeah, you're wrong. I am going to do it. It's a battle, man. It's a battle. That is the toughest thing for me on a daily basis, is battling with myself. Me and my dad refer to it as the motherfucker, actually. But in this sense, the motherfucker is the one thing that tries to hold me back the most in life. I struggle with it every day of my life. It doesn't ever stop. It has been there for as long as I can remember, and it is the most negative thing imaginable. There's a part of me that is so fucking miserable and negative, and when it can show its little disgusting face and it starts saying shit to me, it has definitely derailed me in the past, where I've done what you said years ago, where I try to put on this front, right? I'm putting on a front to myself that isn't real yet. And that internal critic comes in, depression follows, and I'm completely derailed. Now it's getting back on track after that. That has allowed me to become who I am today. But it's like I said, that internal critic is still there. Mine is bad. I don't know. I think everyone's got it, but mine is fucking terrible. And I have to keep constant watch over this thing. And over the years, I've had to prove to this aspect of me that it's wrong and that I am not unchangeable. And now I've adopted a mindset that I can change any part of me that I want to. I have a lot of flaws. I'm discovering new flaws about myself every single day. Actually, the past few months, I've discovered more flaws in myself than I probably have in the past 5 years. And it is overwhelming. The amount of shit that I need to work on right now is fucking ridiculous. But now I look forward to it. And I am feeling overwhelmed right now with how many just issues I've discovered about myself that I had no idea.
Why do you look forward to it?
Because I know I can change. I have, without a shadow of a doubt, at this point, because I've done it so many times in my life, that whenever I discover a negative trait, a negative program, whatever it is, I never, ever think that this is just how it is. I can be anyone that I want to be. I have this vision of who I will eventually become, and I will become that person. And anything from my past that has caused me to be who I am right now, these issues, these flaws of mine, I will eliminate them because I can And the reason I know that I can is because I have done it so many times in the past. And that's what I was getting to it earlier in this episode is no matter what it is, you have to prove it to yourself because you haven't done it yet. You have failed so many times. You have not stuck to your word that now you have to prove it to yourself. But I've done that enough times now that now it's just, yeah, I can absolutely overcome anything, any flaw that I have. I can get rid of it. It's going to take work, but I have the tools. And that's the thing is I have the tools. That's why I made this podcast. Is because I've acquired so many tools to unfuck myself over the years that I'm like, I might as well share this with other people, right? Like that's what this boils down to. After the hardest year of my life, I came out of that with so many tools in my arsenal that I was like, I have to share this with other people to try to help them avoid what I just went through. That was the only reason the Norse mentality started. And now I'm in this spot again, right? Like I went like a year where I thought I was like king shit. I actually believed that illusion for a second. I was like, I'm fucking solid. Like, I've got it all worked out. I'm good. No, I don't. You know what happened, right? I'll tell you right now. I got into a relationship. I thought I was good. Single Andy thought he had it all figured out. And he did. As far as like me as an individual, that side of me, for sure. I worked on that for 2 years. I went into monk mode. I didn't date anyone. I didn't talk to anybody. I just worked solely on myself. But then I get into a relationship and then I discover all kinds of fucking shit that there was no way for me to know was a thing because I wasn't being triggered by anything, right? And that's the thing is life will remind you of what you need to fucking work on. And you can either take it, say thank you, and start putting in the work, start setting goals. That's what we're doing here, right? Like, those are the kind of goals that I set. When I discover something new about myself that I need to eliminate, I set goals to eliminate those negative traits. Every goal I have, for the most part, outside of business, that's it.
I look forward to the work.
For sure. So going back to that as well, I was thinking about this last week. When you brought it up, I was super grateful that you did. I was driving to go pick up Genevieve from school, and I was thinking about this. I'm like, I've never been satisfied with the outcome. I've accomplished a lot of goals, and it's never, ever the outcome. As soon as it happens, I feel nothing. And back in the day, I used to beat myself up about it. I thought that there was something wrong with me. But then what I realized was that, for one, I think most people are like this. It's the journey, right? That's what really matters. It's knowing that I'm leveling up every step of the way. And this goal, this mountain that I'm climbing, it's the reward of knowing that I put in the work to get to the top of the mountain. The view up top is sick, but it's that way up that is the most rewarding. And anyone that's listening that's really done hard hikes, they understand that. Once you get to the top, you're like, yeah, this is cool, but the shit that I just went through, mentally, emotionally, physically, I'm now a stronger person as a result. I have leveled up. I don't level up at top of the mountain. I'm leveling up along the way. And that's all that matters to me. So it's never the end game. You have to have an end point, right? Like, otherwise you're just driving, you're just wandering. You're just kind of going. You're drifting aimlessly through life if you don't have like goals set into place. But the goal is not the main thing there. The goal is like, okay, like this is where I'm heading. Okay, cool. At least I have a North Star to follow. But it's that journey along the way, 100%. That's what matters. That's the fun part. So for all these people that are setting goals in 2023, which I'm very excited for, and I hope every single person that listens to this podcast accomplishes those goals, and then they make new ones, and they accomplish those before the end of the year. But that's 100% what we need to focus on is, who am I becoming during the process? What kind of person am I going to be at the very end of this? That's what gets me excited, especially when it's really fucking hard.
That's what makes me look forward to the work.
Yeah.
Who am I going to look like at the end of this? What value am I going to be able to provide at the end of this after dealing with all the shit that I need to?
So it goes back, though, to your mindset, right? It's that you are not who you were in the past. It's understanding that. That is a very hard concept to understand that I don't think a lot of people do, including myself, not that long ago. A few years ago, I didn't completely understand that. But once you understand that you can rewrite the program and that you can literally become anyone that you want to become, and then when you start setting these big goals and you start transforming into this person, this ideal version of yourself, because that's where it starts up here. Who do I want to become? Maybe it's someone that you respect, right? You meet someone and you're like, this person's fucking awesome. I would love to be more like this person, which that's great. Absolutely model that person. How do they present themselves? What habits are they doing, right? Like every good habit that we have came from someone that figured it out before us. And we're like, oh shit, like, yeah, I could do that as well. But it's understanding that whoever you were in the past is not going to be who you are in the future, because we're constantly changing if we are putting in the work, if we're going through this process of leveling up. And that happens when you set goals. Like if you actually work towards this goal, it's just like in the gym. If you're working out 4 to 5 days a week or even 3 days a week, if you're working out in the gym, you're putting in the work, you're eating the right food, you are transforming, not just physically, mentally and spiritually as well. It's part of the process.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people say, this is just how I am. This is just the way I am.
I want to slam my head through a wall, and then I want to take their head and slam it through the wall as well.
I can't stand that. It's
victim mindset.
At some point in that person's past, they got hurt. They refused to put in the work, and they got stuck in that timeline. And it's one of the most lazy things to me.
I don't think they can help it though. So that's what I mean is I feel the same way. It's very frustrating, but I look at it differently. I understand that there's a mental block there. There's an emotional block, what we were talking about earlier in this episode. So I'm glad that this came full circle. It's something has happened in this person's past. They've been hurt. And unfortunately, they haven't realized yet that this is not the truth. That's it right there.
That's a good way to put it.
This is not the truth. But that's why we do this podcast, right? That's why we have the conversations that we're having right now, is to present the truth to other people, to open their eyes, to help them realize, no, I can change. I can become a better person. I can accomplish anything that I want to in this life, because they don't have that in their life right now. Because if they did, they would not believe it. They're not, maybe it's their parents. I mean, it all boils down to your circle.
I mean, that was me in the past.
Right.
I've been there.
And why were you like that, though?
Because it's probably why I hate it so fucking much.
But it's because of your past, right?
Yeah.
It's because of your circle back then. Then you start getting around some heavy hitters. Then you start getting around people that you see them changing, that they don't share the same mindset. And because they don't share that victim mindset, they have a growth mindset, and you go, well, shit. I see evidence right here that this is not true. I saw this person, and then 6 months later, I saw down the road that there's someone completely different. Well, if they can do it, then so can I. But a lot of people do not have that luxury of being around heavy hitters. It could be because, like, that's the blessing of the internet. That's the blessing of having podcasts and being able to follow influential people online.
Blessing of social media.
It is, right? Like, social media is not completely bad. Social media is bad if you make it bad. But because of technology now, people can listen to this podcast and other beneficial outlets that are opening their eyes to say, okay, no, like, yeah, I believed this in the past, but Andy and Cody are saying something completely different. And that's why I share my stories, is because I want people to understand that, like, I've been where you are right now. And I promise you that it's not true. You can become anyone that you want to be. You create that person inside your head. That's why I stress visualization so much, because it all starts up there. Who do you want to be? Visualize that person in your head, the ideal version of yourself. Okay, well, what do we need to do to become this ideal version of ourselves? We need to start working out. We need to start eating healthier. We need to start reading. We need to start going out into nature. We need to start meditating. We need to start taking care of ourselves. We need to prioritize me. And then slowly over time, if they start implementing this kind of stuff into their life, they start to become this person. And they're like, okay, never mind. Fuck this. I'm not stuck. I don't have to be this person. But that mindset that you're talking about this closed mindset. It breaks my heart. Whenever I hear someone say that, yes, I get frustrated, but it breaks my heart. And the reason it breaks my heart is because I have seen so many people not be able to break out of that trap. Not too long ago, this guy that used to go to the gym, super good dude, amazing individual, biggest heart, would have helped anybody. But he died because of mental blocks. He was severely overweight and he just couldn't remove that block. Something inside of him was saying that he couldn't do it. He couldn't lose the weight. He couldn't be healthier and all this different stuff. The dude died at like 35.
That's sad.
I fucking bawled my eyes out. I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. But the reason I broke down, or the reason I got emotional about it, it only lasted a few minutes. I'm not going to say like it was a full-on breakdown, but the reason I got so emotional about it, it wasn't necessarily because this dude was gone. Yeah, that sucks, but I understand that's part of life. Death is just how, that's just, it's natural, right? The reason it broke my heart so much was because I tried so hard to get this dude to understand that you can do this. Everyone here at Norse did. And he just couldn't. And because this amazing individual that had a heart of gold lost his life at 35 because of a mental block that he couldn't remove, it sucks. And I see it more often than not. Even with people that listen to this podcast, because we get messages every day. I get 30 messages a day on Instagram from people, and I read every single one of them. I try to reply to all of them. We get emails as well. And I get messages like that. And because we've had this podcast now for over a year. So now I'm like seeing it, right? Is someone messages me and they say, I've been listening to the podcast. It's helped me a lot. I'm starting to realize this, blah, blah. Like I've set this goal for myself. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing this. Awesome. I'm stoked, right? Like that fuels my inner fire. But then I get a message 6 months later and it's a completely different tone. And then a lot of times I know that those people never got back on track. And because of that, maybe they're going to die. Maybe they're just going to continue self-sabotaging themselves, their relationships, their financial situation, their health, whatever it may be, because they did not believe that they were capable of change because of some fucking bullshit that they were taught or that they observed at some point in their life. And it affected them so much. It hurt them so much that they actually believed that. So when I say shit on this podcast that might sound harsh, it's because I care. Because I have fucking seen people that I care about die because of it. So with that being said, these mental blocks that are going to come up as we move into this new year, as you're accomplishing these goals, as you're trying your best to become the best version of yourself, you cannot allow them to dictate where you are heading. You need to recognize them. You need to tell them that they don't get a fucking vote, and you continue moving forward. And it doesn't matter if it takes you 6 months, if it takes you a year, if you just completely go off track for 3 months, you get back on it. It might take you till 2025 to accomplish what you've set. That number on the calendar doesn't matter because it's just a number on the fucking calendar. That's why we write down our goals every day. That way we're always reminded, even if you're not working towards it. Okay, Christmas is coming up right now, right? As we're recording this podcast, Christmas is coming up. You're going to get derailed. Well, guess what? You're going to get back on track. You're going to get derailed on this process. It's going to happen. There's no fucking ifs or buts about it. Something is going to happen. Life is going to get in the way. You are going to fall off track. Just go ahead and accept that now. But you also need to tell yourself that without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what happens, no matter what negative fucking bullshit you are feeding yourself, that is not going to stop you, that you're going to accomplish this. Because you owe it to yourself. You need to prove to yourself that you can. And once you do this over and over again, it becomes second nature. You no longer have to deal with this. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily always go away. I deal with this internal motherfucker that tries to stop me every day, every second of the day. It's in there. But like I said, it doesn't get a vote. And it doesn't get a vote with you as well.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Norse Mentality. This podcast is a byproduct of Norse Fitness. We make clothing, fitness accessories, supplements, and other tools to help you reach your true potential. You can check it out at norsefitness.co. And if you found this episode beneficial, please share it with a friend. That way we can continue to make a bigger impact and change the world. Thank you for your support, and we'll talk to you soon.